Okay, people, so it is February 17th, 2018. Uncle John has died. He's died, people. They killed him. FHA Health Authority, you killed Uncle John. Do you see that? He died on January 12th of 2018, one day before he ended up in the hospital at Sur Memorial Hospital 3 years ago. He went into the hospital January 13th, 2015, and he was gaslighted, had psychological warfare perpetrated against his persons. He was being doped up against his consent or his knowledge. He was illegally transported in a hammock, people, as he was passed out with the drugs that they were feeding him so they could cross him over on the ferry. And then once he got onto the other side, they rushed him to the emergency because they knew that he was going to go into cardiac arrest once he came out of his stupor and realized that they had moved him after he requested for me to go get a lawyer so that they wouldn't move him. As they were running around looking how to figure out how to steal his money. The story hasn't changed, people. Nothing has changed. Except for Uncle John is dead now. The stress finally caught up to him and killed him. Along with the smack here and the smack there and putting him off way over there by himself, leaving him to sit for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours unattended, not being talked to, isolated up in Shawnigan Lake in some dark room with that abusive man coming in, probably smacking John around, saying, "Shut up, don't talk about your immediate family, don't talk about the kids, don't talk about Judy, because you don't have a family, John. This is your family sitting up in here in Shawnigan Lake. I'm your family. Smack, shut up. Do you got it, Smack?" Let's keep it real, people. These are the people that we're dealing with. All they wanted was his money. Right? First week on the phone with Shimei after they took him. "Where's his superannuation life insurance policy? Where is it? Where is it?" Well, he didn't have one. Unless, of course, these guys fucking faked some fucking files or something. Who knows? You know, forged some more files. Right? You got professional thieves in the mix here, right? Working within the healthcare system and the banking system. Right? Stole Joan's money that she left to John that they never told him about, I'm sure. Right? Kept them locked away like their dirty secret. Right? This doesn't stop the lawsuit, people. Nope. Doesn't stop the lawsuit. Doesn't stop what they did to him. Right? And what they do to other elderly people that have houses and stocks and bonds and pension plans and life insurance policies that these people that working within our healthcare system are stealing from them. Whether it's through the public guardian and trustee or whether it's through those crooked, ugly nurses that roam the halls looking for their next victim. Eleanor. Just because you got a demon lawyer working for FHA Health trying to protect the crimes that they committed under the Criminal Code of Canada doesn't mean it's going to protect you. God doesn't like ugly. He really doesn't. And as for this little guest book signature, "Uncle John, I have many memories of you. I will miss you, and I'm glad to know you are at peace now." He's not at peace, people. He's not at peace. We will meet again one day. Love, Jeanette. Who the hell is Jeanette Lake? He doesn't know no Jeanette. He hasn't talked to no Jeanette. In all the years that I have known him, people, never once has he ever mentioned the name Jeanette. They put that there purposely, right? You know, because they think it's going to hurt our family when we find out. No, it's not going to hurt our family. We've already been hurt, people. So basically they murdered him. So I guess they can't impersonate him anymore, people, eh? He's dead. How do you impersonate a dead person? Seriously. So will the real John Duncan please stand up? Like, who is in the background speaking on behalf of John? Because they have the right to be John. I'd like to know, people. Is it Eleanor's husband? Or is it Eleanor? Is Eleanor finally going to have to come out of the fucking shadows? You know, what lives in the shadows, people? Only evil entities hide out in the shadows all the time. Right? So will the real John Duncan please come forward? Right? Just because he died doesn't mean it's over. As a matter of fact, it's probably just begun. Because as far as I'm concerned, people, he was murdered. He was murdered the minute they put him in that fucking hammock. Never mind that. He was being murdered the minute they started giving him drugs, telling him it was a calcium pill. Oh no, it's just a calcium pill. Would you like it crushed or whole? Knowing that he'd take it whole. Because it was all deception. Right? Just like mail transfer, illegal mail transfer was deception. Just like John sitting on the ferry eating crumpets and drinking fucking tea with the Catholic priest beside him saying, don't worry, you won't die when you cross over. I'm here with you. You just make that phone call to your credit card call station and let them know that your sister can talk on your behalf and make all your decisions from this point forward, because once you get onto the other side and the ferry docks, you're going straight into emergency, and we're going to make sure that you stay alive. Barely, just enough so that we can get your fucking signature and just and get all the paperwork in order, figure out what's going on as we pump your heart every now and then just to make sure you stay alive, just in case we need your fucking signature. Because it's easy for us to impersonate you. All we have to do is get some bozo up on the phone saying, oh yeah, I'm Mr. John Duncan, and I give Eleanor the right to take over my bank account. Now let me go back to sleep in my hammock. Like, wake up, people! Don't let these people get away with this shit. For the more humble in the crowd, don't let these people that fucking did this shit to Uncle John get away with it. I'm past the grieving stage. I've been grieving. My family's been grieving. Everyone's been grieving for a long, long fucking time. What does the Duncan clan expect me to do now? Start crying? Fuck you, Duncan clan. You murdered him. You and your greed. Greed for money. Well, you're gonna see what your fucking money gets you. And if you think you're gonna get away with it on Earth, you got another thing coming when it's your time to go into the fucking ground. John will come back to haunt you. He is not at peace. There is nothing peaceful about this situation. I noticed you didn't post his obituary until January 18th, on the day of his funeral. What, were you afraid that maybe Mark Hain would come up and want to say goodbye to Uncle John? Were you afraid that maybe Shimei with her baby would want to come up and say goodbye to Uncle John? Were you afraid of Tisha showing up to say goodbye to Uncle John? Oh, I know, you were afraid of Andre. A little 7-year-old coming up and saying goodbye to Uncle John. Let me remind you, Uncle John watched Andre for a whole week while I was sick with the Surrey flu. And then he gets the Surrey flu, develops pneumonia in there, goes a little fucking delirium, which is normal for his age group with a lung infection. We make the right decision to send him to the hospital so he doesn't die out of fucking dehydration or whatever, or just sleeping, because that was the kind of flu. That's why he watched Andre for a whole fucking week while I slept, people. He goes into the Surrey Memorial Hospital. 3 years later, he's fucking dead. He was gaslighted. He was psychologically tortured. He was illegally detained. He was illegally being drugged up, which is an illegal restraint. He was illegally transported in a hammock under sedation to Victoria to be immediately put into a hospital emergency situation just so they could keep him fucking alive, so they could do the paperwork, so they could figure out the paperwork. Look for that superannuation life insurance policy only because he worked for the government and he had one. So they thought. I was his life insurance policy, people. These children of mine and my grandchildren were his life insurance policy. He invested into this family, not those fucktards over there that killed him. For greed. For money. That's the only reason. There is my grieving process, Fraser Health Authority. I'll see you in fucking court.